Next question. My boss instituted mandatory uncompensated monthly meetings with the added warning that if we miss them, there'd be repercussions. While this isn't an unjust move on his part, I'm choosing to remain silent and not complain. I decided that this is not enough of a pressing issue for me to speak out against. That way, the next time I decide to actually raise an issue over something, it'll have more of an impact. This was influenced by your decision to only ask your leadership for help only when absolutely necessary. Because of this, when you did ask for something, your request was taken much more seriously. Do you think this was the right way to lead up the chain of command in this scenario?
Yeah, I think that's a very good way to lead up the chain of command in that scenario. And you got to choose your battles because it is possible in any job to cry wolf. Right? It's possible to say, oh, this is way we can't do this. And it's possible if you complain about everything, eventually you're not getting listened to anymore. So what I would do here, definitely attend the meetings, right? You show up for the meetings, you attend the meetings, you see what they're about, see what the deal is. What is he trying to accomplish? Maybe he has some really good thing that he's trying to accomplish. Got to put out word, or we don't know yet. Maybe his vision is that he's only going to hold these mandatory meetings until he gets a flow and he gets everybody on board, and then he can go, cool, we don't have to do this anymore. You guys got it. I don't know what his vision is. What's he trying to make happen? Let's give him that credit as the leader to say, hey, you're calling this meeting. We're going to show up there. We're going to do our best to participate and get the most out of the meeting. Find out what it's all about. So go to the meetings. And then now you got your guys. So you might be a little bit worried about your guys, right? Saying, hey, why are you making us attend this meeting that the boss said we got to go to? And on that one, what I would likely do is make everyone attend a few of them. And I would do it. Say, hey guys, the boss is having a meeting. No, we're not going to get paid, but look, we're going to get word. We're going to find out what's going on. So I want everyone's got to be there, right? So you don't pass the buck. You maintain the responsibility of what's happening. You own it. And then maybe after a little while, though, you look at the boss and you say, hey, boss, you know what? These meetings are good to go. I'm getting a lot out of them, but I'm not going to I don't want to make my guys go. I want to pass the word to them. So is that all right if I have them skip the meetings, but I'll be there and then I'll put out the information? And, most likely you'll get a, hey, that sounds good, especially if you've been attending the meetings and you've been participating, you've been raising your hand and taking notes and saying, yeah, we got that, boss. We can make that happen. If you've been... is that kissing ass? No. It's building a relationship, right? Now, there is a distinction, right, between kissing ass and building a relationship. And don't kiss ass because you're not building a relationship when you kiss ass. As a matter of fact, people are turned off by it. So you don't want to be that guy. Hey, boss, what a wonderful meeting. I got so much out of it. No. Participate and get in the game. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying kiss ass because kiss ass isn't going to get you. It's going to look bad. Yeah. I mean, are there some bosses that feed off of that? Yes, there are. And you might have to play that game a little bit. Not going to feel good. That's why we have to put our ego in check. Yeah. And then, that's what I would do. So I think you made the right call. Let's go to a bunch of these meetings, see what they're all about. And maybe, eventually you're saying, hey, boss, these are uncompensated. We could probably utilize these hours better if we did this or we did that. Yeah, so this is a good, straightforward method. I think you made the right call, and let us know how it goes. Yeah,
that kissing ass thing. Everyone knows you're kissing ass. And
everyone does.
Even if the boss, really what you're doing is you're trading your long-term respect. You're trading that in for that short-term popularity. With just the boss, by the way. Uh-huh. Like all people,
because your popularity is going down.
Everyone else looking at you like, look at that guy. Kissing ass. Look at him. Even the boss, even if he likes it, there's a big part of his brain that's like, all right, I don't really respect.
So that's what I'm saying. You don't have to kiss ass.
Right.
You don't have to kiss ass. But you know what what does the boss want? Someone that's kissing their ass and saying, wow, what a wonderful idea. Or someone that's actively participating like a professional. Yep. That's what they want. Yeah. That's what they want. Yeah, so do that.
Got to be down for the cause. If you're like, dang, I'm down for the cause. I'll tell you when I have a problem with something. I'll tell you why, that kind of thing. But ultimately, if you're down for the cause, your boss's cause or the whole cause or whatever, that's But they're gonna
And
respect
so
you.
much of it changes with your attitude.
Yeah,
If your
big time.
attitude is like, "Oh man, this is we gotta go to this meeting.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
not
yeah.
getting paid." But if your attitude is like, "Hey, this is really cool that the boss is stepping up. He's trying to get us engaged in this. I'm gonna go in there and get after it." That just totally changed your attitude right there.
Yeah.
I've done that a million times. Played that little game in my head. Said, "All right, my boss is an idiot. You know what? I'm an idiot. Let's go. Let's make this happen. I'm gonna get after it. What stupid thing is he gonna tell me? You know what I'm gonna do with that stupid thing he tells me to do? I'm gonna crush
Kill
it."
it.
I did that when I was going to officer candidate school. And there's this thing at officer candidate school where you have to yell everything that you say. They call it being ballistic. They say you got to be ballistic at all times. And it's pretty cool why they do it, actually. They do it because you get some people that are coming into the military. Because when you go to OCS, most of the people that are going through OCS with have never been in the military before. They're coming from college, and they graduated college, and now they're going to OCS. So they got 13 weeks to get turned into an officer. So what they do is they make you yell everything. Why do they do that? The reason they make you yell everything is because there's some people that aren't confident when they speak.
Gotcha.
And so everything that they're going to say, they're going to be shy about saying it. Well, at OCS, you've actually got to yell everything that you say, because you can't go on the bridge of a ship and say, can we turn the ship 90 degrees to the port? No. You have to speak up. You have to say, hey, we're turning 90 degrees port. I don't actually know what the command is because I wasn't a surface warfare officer. But, you say, hey, we're going to turn 90 degrees port. You can't say it in a timid way. And so the way they beat that out of you is by making you yell every single thing that you do when you're in officer candidate school. So what we did was the upperclassmen that control you when you're going through, there's like a class that's getting ready to graduate, and they kind of control you when the drill instructors aren't there. And so they also make little money for their fund. And the way they make money for the fund is selling soda and candy in this little closet, right? I mean, it's authorized. So my class, I said, hey guys, when you go into, I was the class president. I said, when you go, I said, when you go into the office to buy candy or soda, which I don't recommend, but if you do, if you do it, go in there and be ballistic. And they were like, why? I go, do it, because those are the rules. And so everyone lined up, and they went in this little closet, and they're yelling at I would like one Coca-Cola and one Snickers bar, sir. And after 10 people, the person that's in there, the upperclassman, comes out and goes, you guys are no longer allowed to be ballistic. And that was the way that we won. Being, just kidding. And I actually did that in Buds, too, where I do stuff to the extreme, like you got to get wet and sandy in Buds. And which means you got to jump in the ocean and then roll around in the sand. Well, I would jump in the ocean. I would roll around in the sand. And then when you get back to the instructor that told you to go get wet and sandy, you'd have to go back to them and say, "Hoo-yah, Instructor Charles," to make sure that they knew that you got wet and sandy. So what I would do is I'd go, I didn't do it immediately, but when I figured out that I could do this, I did it. I would get wet. I would get sandy. I would completely cover every square inch of my body with sand. And then I would put sand into my mouth. I would fill my mouth with sand. And when I'd run up to say hoo-yah to the instructor, when I'd say hoo-yah, dry sand would come out of my mouth. It was pretty fun. So I like to have that attitude. Like, oh, you want to make me do something? Great. I'll do it. And I'm going to do it with vigor and enthusiasm. And then we literally in my Buds class, when at a certain point they told us we weren't allowed to get wet and sandy anymore. They literally told us that. And they said, no, you aren't allowed to get wet anymore. And we were saying, what's wrong? And we said, no, you're not allowed. And that, so it actually, okay, well, I did it anyways.
It's kind of like they're like kind of pushing you down this hill with this expectation that you're going to be putting on the brakes or something.
Run to the fire.
Yeah. So like the more they push you down the hill, the more your natural tendency, hopefully, is going to be to put on the brakes. That's why all that works. Like, oh, go get wet and sandy. Like, oh, that sucks. But if you're like, wet and sandy time, let's do this kind of thing, then it's like, and then in a way you can put on the brakes when they say stop. You're like, okay, I don't got to get wet and sandy anymore.
One of my buddies, so there's something called flights where you run up this hill and you carry pallets. You know what a pallet is, right? They're made of wood or steel. We had both there. They call them flights, and they actually have a little flight tower.
Just
a little
the
tiny,
drill
a
is
little
called
tiny,
flights.
It's called flights, and
Yeah,
you
okay.
put this thing on your back so you look like an airplane, and you run up this hill and come back down.
Right, flying.
And you do it as a squad. And when you get back to the bottom, they'd say, "Okay, who came in last place?"
Wait, how many one guy, one pallet?
Yeah, one guy per pallet. And they'd be like, who came in last place?" And I'd say, "I came in last place." And then you got to do it again.
Yeah.
But the funniest was when you came back down, if you were slow or they just wanted to hammer you more, they'd say, "Hey, you're on fire. Go put it out." And which means you got to run then your pallet down to the ocean.
Oh, God.
And so one time I came back down and they said, "You have to request permission to land." And one time I came back down and said, "I can't land. I'm on fire." And they go, "Okay, go take it hit the surf." But what was even better than that was a couple days later, I came back down and I said, "Request permission to touch and go," which in pilots is, you land and then you take right back off. So they go, "Permission granted." I turned right around and went back up there. That was pretty funny.
Doesn't that like just, because basically that starts with just embracing the attitude, right?
Yeah.
That's what it starts with.
Have a good time with it.
Doesn't it result in all this crap? Let's face it, man. That go get wet and sandy. I mean, from a normal standpoint,
Is
that's
allegedly
not cool.
not fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Neither is the flights, bro. You explained that the flights is not cool, but doing it that way, it's just as hard, kind of physically, but
It's a little bit
the
harder.
experience. Yeah, it's a little harder.
It's a little bit harder.
But the experience is way better, though. You know what I mean?
And then we always had a good time when we were doing, like, we used to go when we were on a ship.
Yeah.
Then you'd go and the ship do something called an unrep, where they load gear, they load food and supplies and fuel from another ship, and we would go help. But we would turn it into like a sport where we're trying to move as much boxes as we can, and guys, we're all sweating and just getting after it. And instead of being, because it's whatever, it sucks, right? Because you got to go up there and move a bunch of boxes, like a moving party, basically.
Yeah.
But we actually turned it into a moving party.
Yeah,
Emphasis on party. We would go out and have fun, be laughing, throwing stuff, and just basically getting after it, even though it was just labor. But why not have a good time?
Bro, that's a good idea. You gotta really man up with it for sure. But if you can kind of flip that switch, bro, that's good.
Yeah, it changes everything, man. When you get that good attitude going,
Yeah,
make it fun.
it's good, man. Those pallets
Yeah, flights.
we do on Kauai, Polihali, huge beach, huge sand. To get to the beach, 7-mile beach, by the way.
Nice.
Make bonfires with those pallets.
Oh yeah. You didn't carry them up your back on the hill.
No. We use the truck for sure. Use the truck.